Hey. It's like, and like what we like, our whole thing is like with relationships, especially, and like that's why we're straight candid, is like we talk about those hard fucking conversations of like how in your relationship, like in one of your most toxic relationship, how did you know that you needed to get out? Because you're saying you were giving and you were young, and like how did you know you were gonna get out, and then how did you do it? Like how did you have it in you to do it?
Well, he punched me in the face.
Oh,
So that's what I'm saying. Like it gets to a point where the toxicity, you are no longer partners, you are prisoners together. And there's always going to be this dynamic. There's always somebody that has now knows what they need to do to get you to freak out, to ruin your day, to make sure that you are thinking about them all the time. And it's always performative. It's hardly ever like, if you were to call their bluff, usually the person that's like doing the toxicity, like the cheating or the lying or the staying out late, whatever, if you call them on their bluff, they usually crumble. But there's two roles now. There's a person that is always putting the relationship at risk, and then there's the forgiver, and both of you are proud about that. Both of you are feeding your egos in different ways. So you're like, oh my God, I'm so open-hearted, how could he do this to me, I'm so compassionate. And the other person is like, wow, I'm big and bad, I have this power, right? And to turn those tables takes both people to say like, truce, it's not going to fucking happen, especially when you're young, especially when you both are fighting 24/7. And it starts with a little push. It starts with a shove. And then you're like, no. And then afterwards, it's like he has anger issues and you can't talk about it to anybody because you love this person. And if you were to tell people, oh, he's starting to scare me, they'd be like, leave. And you'd be like, you don't understand. I've built this life around this person, and we have plans, bitch. We all have plans. Classic. We all have plans. I'm planning to take a shower later. And if I do, I do. And if I don't, I definitely will. I definitely am going to shower. Okay. But, so it got to the place where if you're fighting constantly, I was with this person for nearly 10 years, which was such a fucking mistake. But I like to say I was with him for 10 years and he was with other people, but that's fine. It got to the place where I could not stand and this, when you want to break up with somebody, but you cannot stand the thought of them touching somebody else.
Yes. Like, oh my God, this is the most overwhelming thing.
You literally are like, you are literally the worst person in the entire fucking world. Your breath is now 10 times as worse as it's ever been for some fucking reason.
Everything you do bothers me.
The way he breathes, the way he would be snoring, and I'd be like, all it takes is one, like all I have to do is just I want to fucking kill him, And then they do randomly they would do like this one nice thing. And you'd be like, oh, and then you're like, you have the ick. You're like, shut the fuck up. You're so fucking annoying. So you want to break up with them, but you're like, the thought of them being turned on by somebody else or being nicer to somebody else. Like, I put in this fucking work. I deserve some of the fucking payoff, but I can't fucking stand you. So it got to the point where we were drunk together. It was like a New Year's. And it's one of the reasons I left Miami. Somebody that I was with said, what were you doing last weekend? And I was there, like standing next to him, and I was like drinking. I was like 20. Yeah, I was 22. And they were like, oh, I was out of town. And they're like, what are you talking about? I saw you with this girl. And I went like this.
Oh,
what was that?
He knew. Sorry, I think I'm having a fucking stroke. So, and I had already taken him back so many times to the point where it wasn't even like open-heartedness. It was like martyrdom. It was like it wasn't even giving me anything. It was just like, now I was starting to be like, I'm embarrassed by you. People feel bad for me, like all this crazy shit. Right. So then I remember when I looked at him and I was like, you fucking, and I went insane, and he didn't know what to say. So he just like, and I said, you know what? I'm done. And I never said that before.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm super done. That's one thing. Men like Adam and Marcus, I'm just kidding. Men
they're called out. They're laughing.
That was a good memory.
Men will say things to try to make to turn back the table, right? So like if they get caught, somehow, some way you end up apologizing. They always find a fucking way, but if they can't find that fucking Tetris happening, the panic starts. So he was like, oh, you're gonna leave? Fine, fucking leave them. I'd be like, yeah, I'm fucking going. I'm leaving. And then he started for the first time, I remember I was like relishing in it for like 5 seconds. I was like, oh, I thought we were big and bad, but we're scared now. And people always try to call my bluff. I'm like, I mean what I say and I say what I mean. If I'm telling you I'm fucking leaving, I'm fucking leaving. So the Miami popped out.
Oh, yes, it did.
So then I remember I was like about to get in my car and he like turned me around and he's like, oh, that's it, you're fucking done. And I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking done. And I went like this, get away from me, because he was like, you know you think someone's gonna hit you, and they're like nose to nose, and I'm like, I am not in UFC press kit meeting, like I don't understand what you're doing right now. And he just went, and I think he like freaked the fuck out, because then I started screaming and then he tried to take me down. And I remember afterwards, it happened in like 4, 5, 6 seconds tops. For me, it was half an hour. But I remember thinking, he's going to fucking kill me. He's going to fucking kill me. And then my friend's parents came out of the house, because we were parked outside the house, and he ran off. And I started immediately, I told him what happened. I was like, oh my God, he fucking hit me. He hit me. He like, it was like, you were like stung by a bee or something. Like, I can't believe, or like one of those things where you're like, I can't believe this is fucking happening to me. Like when your car stops on the fucking freeway and you're like, this cannot be me. Like you're like living. So you're one of those things.
Yeah.
So
it happen from above.
Oh, like you have to say it, you know, or else it's like, but I remember,
because it can't be real.
Immediately the next day I woke up, like the 1st of January, whatever. Immediately I woke up and people were like, oh, he's telling everybody that you're crazy and a liar and you think he hit you. And I was like, the PR. He was trying to beat me to the chase.
Oh, he's a
chase. He was like, Tevi's crazy, she's losing it. Yeah.
If
fuck that motherfucker.
Guys that call girls psychos or like crazy or make you feel crazy, I think innately it's the other way around.
I always ask, what did you do to make her crazy?
Hey.